Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. Thank you for joining me on a conversation with, and I am your humble host, Floyd Marshall Jr. And today I am joined by an amazing guest, a very special guest, and I'm extremely excited to talk with this phenomenal multi hyphenate young lady because when you look up multi hyphenate, this is the person that is staring back at you. But let me guys give you a give you a little tongue tie today. I must be really excited. A little introduction on who I'm about to introduce you guys to. This is Ms. Leah Queen, and she is the founder and creator of QueenLight TV. And a little black background. Leah is a multi-ethnic, multilingual former legal arbiter, teacher, and stock exchange securities agent who now operates as a successful public speaker, creative community liaison, and television and film writer and producer. LQ specializes in female-led stories that offer intriguing and dynamic characters who break the mold and all the rules. LQ was mentored by the legendary Stan Lathan, as well as the late, great John Singleton, and had the privilege of working with Mr. Singleton during the development phases of Snowfall on FX and Rebel on BET. Currently, LQ concentrates on developing an exciting slate of original projects via her Seven Reasons production banner. Stan Lathan and John Singleton hailed LQ as the next spark of real talent behind the camera in Hollywood, and she takes and makes every opportunity possible to show and prove. There is so much more here, but I want to get to the interview. And ladies and gentlemen, normally when I come on, I am not that tongue tied. I'm usually pretty smooth, but I am so excited to talk with her because she has done something so revolutionary. But I'm going to let her tell you guys. So, Miss Leah, welcome to the show. How are you? Can't hear you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Thank you. You are
That is
too
okay.
kind. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of that. I received that. Thank you. You want me to jump right into what we're doing?
Yeah, no. So tell me, how did you get started in this business? Because you have done quite a few things. Uh-oh.
Sorry about that.
That is
I
okay. This is
apologize.
live.
Yes, it is very much so.
This is live, ladies and gentlemen. So no worries at all. But how did you
Sorry
get
about that.
started?
Okay. So the short of the story is the fact that I've always been a creative. Let's just start there.
Mhm.
So summer acting camps and dancing and singing and whatever else mommy and daddy could get me out of the door to. Piano, violin, viola, choir, step team, drill team, dance team, everything. Any and everything of the arts. I went to academic and performing art schools on the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
And then it came time for, secondary education, post-second. And it was like, we're not paying for you to be an artist, a starving artist. On top of
Mhm.
it, you have clearly expressed to us the type of life you wish to live. You've clearly expressed to us how many children you envision having, and I definitely fulfilled that. We'll get to that later. And how you gonna feed them? Being a ballerina, or being a pop sensation? Are you the next Janet Jackson? Is no, you that mouthpiece is something else,
Mhm.
and you have an aptitude for numbers. So what's it going to be? You going to school for law, you going to school for numbers, and it ended up being both.
Okay.
So that's what that was. I'm dating myself by saying that, but when I came up, it was a joke for a child, almost a joke, just a long shot, not necessarily a joke, because my parents always believed in me, but just a long shot.
Mhm.
So you didn't send your kid off to school, unless you were Joe Jackson and you had somebody that was going to see to it and make the American dream happen. Whereas nowadays, you'd give them your blessing because they can go be multi-billionaires off of YouTube or off of TikTok, but that was not the case when I was coming up. So enter the law degree, enter the financing and accounting degree. And thank goodness for my parents. Thank goodness that it went that way because it all was able to come full circle. I ended up doing some accounting and legal, heavier on the legal side work for various commercials, various brands, ended up doing some background work on a John Singleton project. Um, and again, keeping the cliff notes of it, because a lot of people, know this story. It's all over. Everybody knows this story. There was a writer who stood the project up, just did not show up, and it kept extending, the time schedule of it. And so then, myself and some people in accounting and all had to go up to the executives and let them know, listen, you're in danger. You're about to blow your permits. You're about to lose this. You're about to lose that. We're about to lose some vendors. You're burning money here. Something has to be done. And it was suggested to the dearly departed, I miss him so very much, John Singleton, that give the script to the girl in legal. And it was like, why would we give the lawyer the script? What are you talking about? He said, I'm telling you, I've been eating with her and talking with her every day that she's been on the job. I've worked with her on something else before, which they had it. That wasn't a John Singleton project. It was another one. And I'm telling you, she's a creative. Give it to her. If nothing else, she's going to at least redline the hell out of it as she would a contract.
Right.
Even if it doesn't work for the scene, she's going to go through the grammar. She's going to give it to her. So I took it and I did it. And a very large majority of what I did was used. That opened up conversations. And it opened up and it ended up me having lunch with John and him just saying, like, what's your story? Who are you? What's going on? So we got into all of that. We talked about things, and he basically looked me in the eye and let me know, if you'll let me tear you down, because it's very evident to me that you're used to running things. That, but if you're not a lawyer here, this is not your world. If you let me strip you down and build you back up, your creative side can live. You want to come up out that office? You want to come up out those courtrooms? What do you want to do? You want to litigate? You want to write? What do you want? And I was able to return to my creative self. And it was one of the best, just one of the grandest experiences of my life. It always will be. And that was my introduction back into things that led me to other names and other people, and just everything that I have now, just pushing the boulder up the mountain. And then, of course, obviously, we lost him far too soon, and very, very suddenly. And I've just been trying to push the boulder back up the mountain ever since. Hollywood took the stance that I didn't have this big, strong man behind me anymore. And so, throw her back in the pond, or only give her the pieces that we want her to have, or we know what we'll decide what she's good at and what she's good for. And I played that game long enough and studied at the feet of masters and paid my dues until I was in a position to do some of the things that I'm doing now, that I'm just so excited to be here with you about and explain today.
Wow. So it's interesting, because it's a quote that says, things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
How about it?
So the fact that things were being held up, but for you, they were being opened up.
Yes, indeed.
And that is so interesting. So you're mentored by one of the most phenomenal directors to ever live.
Ever.
I've seen everything that he's done except for Snowfall.
Oh.
I have never seen Snowfall. And I know some people
have to do
are going to unsubscribe from my podcast because but I've heard so much about it.
Right.
And I heard that it is just a masterful piece of work. So you're mentored by someone such as him. You're mentored by another great, Stan Lathan.
Yes.
And you have all of this talent, but you keep running into that wall.
The system that is set up to take a talent and a voice, such as myself, and many others. This part of my story is not unique, unfortunately. So I don't mean to sit here and bemoan and belabor it as if it was just me. This is spread far and wide. There are voices and talent that are out there, that the Hollywood machine, we'll just call it, so that we don't have to drop names or companies or offend anybody. The Hollywood machine purposefully puts in a line, puts in a place, boxes you in, and they decide what you're good for, where you're useful, what they're going to allow you to be a part of, and exactly how and where they want you to play. So they might let you into the biggest thing on TV or the biggest thing on a big screen, but because they decide where you're going to play a part in this biggest thing, you still may not feel like you have the full entryway, even though it's the biggest thing in the world. You're just good enough to do this part of it. We just need you over here. So I spent years, and again, that's not taking a swipe at anyone or any entity or any person that I have worked with. All of it was a part of me paying my dues and building the blocks and laying the bricks to get to where the ascension that I am now experiencing. And that's not even going to be the end. There'll be another level after what I'm about to knock out right now. There's always a higher journey. But I do realize that there was a certain point in time in there where I was doing my best to play my best by the old Hollywood rules. And I had to come to an understanding of the fact that as long as I kept doing that and making them feel or informing them that I was okay with it, that's exactly where they were going to keep me. So it was up to me to get out of it.
Absolutely, because no one's going to willingly change. Change is always, unfortunately, change is always forced.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to another interview that you did, you were talking about basically the paper trail that these companies left with leaving so much money on the table when you were talking about, and the two reports that kept coming out front was the McKinley report and the UCLA diversity report.
The UCLA diversity report, headed by friends.
And a lot of people,
yes,
a lot of people are not familiar with those. So you know what, if you don't mind letting our audience know, because we have a lot of creatives that listen to this, what those two reports basically talked about.
Okay, would you, at every creative, anybody within the sound of my or Floyd's voice right now, know your business. I cannot stress that enough. Read the trades, keep up with the times, and know your business. For you not to know the UCLA diversity report, for you not to know what Dr. and Professor Hunt are pulling out over there, and the McKinley report, which basically were reports that were put together and aggregated for you to be able to understand how much money is left on the table with a lack of exposure with diverse audiences, diverse content, and people who are classified as BIPOC and identify as females put into a lead position to green light and make executive decisions when it comes down to the content that the world is consuming. Not having a handle on that has cost everybody everything. Unfortunately, those in the power to change it, and as you just so beautifully said, because change has to be forced, that change wasn't going to be forced upon them until they realized how much green they were leaving on the table. It had to come down to that. Once they were shown in dollar bills, y'all, once they saw a figure, a number, and understood what they were leaving on the table, then it became something to care about. Then it became something to make movement on. And even then, only slight movement. We're getting there. But even with that amount of money, it should have been a mass movement. And it still, in a true sense, wasn't. It was as far as face value, but it still wasn't as far as behind the scenes. And that's something, me being someone in the industry, I get to say. I know, I see it. But the other piece, apart from the money being left on the table, was just the experiences, the voices, the actual true diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is, and that was the other missing part too. When this all first started, it was just about diversity and inclusion, and everybody had left out the E. What about the equity? That diversity and that inclusion is not equitable if you're just doing lip service, if it's just being done at face value. So now if this becomes a matter of, hey, did we at least let 5 BIPOC, 5 female, and 5 Asian Pacific people pitch this month? Well, then we did our job. Well, yeah, there's a little diversity and inclusion there, but that's not equitable.
Right.
How many people got through the pipeline? How many people are going towards development? How many people are actually going to get through production? How many people, good God Almighty, if God shine upon us, will get distribution? Talk to me about that. So those two reports leaned in heavily on that. And then also, instead of just doing which I hate, you're the problem, instead of just the pointing of the fingers, it gave solutions. as well, and incentivize people to go after these solutions due to the fact that either because you truly do care from the heart, because you want to see entertainment that represents the world that looks like the world we actually live in, which is heavily diverse, or because you don't care about any of that, but why should money get left on the table? Whichever your flavor is, it adds up for you to get on this train.
It really does. And because there are some independents out there that do not want to operate within a Hollywood system, I would still recommend that you read both just so you can understand how the business works. Because at the end of the day, as you so beautifully stated, this is a business.
Yes.
And if you don't know the business, as they found out, and they are masters at this, billions and billions of dollars were left on the table.
If you don't run your business will run you. Absolutely. I ran a class last night where we got into that, and where I was just talking about the fact of, you can't afford to have the naivety of that. I'm just going to create. I just want to come and create. And if you do know through your bones that, listen, that's all it's ever going to be, then you better be decent enough to go get yourself a team that worries about the other things then. If you are just the purist, you are not doing anything else but creating. I am here to paint that picture. I am here to write that script. I am here to only frame those movements. I am the cinematographer. I am the director. I am the writer. I am nothing else. I am pure about just my art. Okay, pure person, not a problem. Love you. We need you. Beautiful. You are the top of us as far as artists and visionaries are concerned. But let me talk to your team real quick. There's got to be somebody else over there running this business. I need to talk to your team real quick. So yeah, it's important.
And you know what? And we're going to get to QueenLight TV in a second, because all of this is leading to that.
Yes.
Why do you think? Well, no, I'm not. No. What? Well, no, let me ask you this. Why do you think so many creatives have a problem with wanting to learn the business side? Do you think that it's just from lack of knowing that this is something that could actually help you actually be a better creative? Because if you know about the money, then you're able to say, well, you know what? I'm going to budget A, B, C, and D. So correct. I can create, as opposed to just throwing things together. So what is your take on that?
Nobody's going to like this. This is where I go from being the queen to being the queen bee, because nobody's going to like this answer, but oh well. It's a facet of exactly what you just said. To understand that you need to know the business, and the fact that it would make you a better artist makes the ego within an artist feel that they already aren't the best, and that their art isn't already worthy. If I need to learn that to make this better, then that means that this isn't already what I'm telling the world that it is. I don't need that. This is already the best. It's ego. It's ego. Point blank. There's no reason for you not to want to know the business. Or like I said, if it's truly on that purist level, even that person should still understand then. And that's why I have 5 people over here who do. That even still, but the person that wants to completely and totally negate it, the art will live, man. It'll get to the top. They'll find it there. Okay. Oh, okay. Because when you don't know the business, it begins to shine through on what's not exactly the strongest parts of the art or the vision that it is that you're trying to present. And that's an ego. This is my baby, right? This is my pretty baby. This is my, but me letting you know that you are not mothering or fathering or parenting at your top level does not make the baby any less precious. I'm telling you that you're not fully equipped to take care of and to present what is so precious. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So when I tell you that, you're not doing the greatest thing of, you really shouldn't let the baby have that extra piece of candy. That's not the baby. I'm talking to you. And most artists cannot separate that. I'm talking to you about your business. Do you have it straight about your team? Did you dot the I's and cross the T's. I'm not talking to you about the project itself and its worth out here. And once you kill that ego, once you slay that dragon, you lay that demon down, a whole nother world, a whole nother level opens up. It amazes me. So many people claim to want to ascend. They want to climb the mountaintop. They want to get up and then don't want to do what's necessary to achieve those things. That's what separates everybody.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because you might have to end up calling business protective services on some of these people because they're abusing the child. But I watch a lot of very successful people in this space,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have business coaches, and they all have an amazing business acumen because it is all tied together. You cannot do one without the other. And here's what ends up happening if you want to be that amazing creative. And the road is littered with these bodies. They lost everything they had. So that thing that you created, that you poured all of your blood, sweat, and tears in someone owns that.
Yes.
You can't even use your own name.
Correct.
Because
your
you didn't handle
likeness, your image, your face belongs to, correct.
It belongs to someone else. You won't trademark, you won't copyright. I'm just an artist. Okay, you sensitive about your shit, but you must learn the business. And sometimes when I'm talking to creators, they're like, well, why?
Yeah.
Well,
because while you busy being sensitive about your ish, along comes somebody else who's serious about it.
Absolutely.
Which one you want to be? You want to be sensitive about your ish, or you want to be serious about it? And then once you learn the difference between the two, you come into the sweet spot where you get to be both.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole one without the other, it's not going to fly.
So that leads me directly into the creation of QueenLight TV, because with the creation of that, you are giving those creatives a platform and a voice, and it's unlike other streaming services. So could you explain?
Certainly. And again, thank you, Floyd, so much for having me here. We are so excited, and I'm screaming it from every mountaintop everywhere, and just the traction and the attention that we're getting is unreal. I appreciate you. I do. So QueenLight Television is now known as QLTV Plus. So
Okay.
yes,
a little extra something there.
Yes, because we realized within internal strategist meetings and all that, wow, even before we hard launch, we need to rebrand because it is plus so much more. Mm-hmm. There is such an extra to this. And as you stated, completely and totally different than any other streaming platform out there. Most people know I've spent years working. I've done work with all of the big three. So I am Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime aware, and have done work with them and for them and by them and beside them, as well as others, the Peacocks and the Tubies and the Boobies and the Hubies of the world, and all of the QBs and the Doobies, all of them. And QueenLight Television, QLTV Plus, it's a different brand, where it is consumer based and focused, as well as creative based and focused. QLTV Plus is opening up the door. It is really revolutionizing the development, production, and distribution process for creators, which in turn then revolutionizes the viewing and the consumer experience for our audience, simply by bringing in shows and voices that have gotten a chance to go through the development, the production, and the distribution process in a way that is just not found anywhere else in Hollywood. This is literally people have been going to sleep for years. and just saying, I wish there was a place that I could wake up tomorrow and that, I'm a nobody, which I don't mean that. Everyone is somebody, but by their standards, I'm a nobody. But I know I've got a good idea. I know I can do this. I know this deserves to be heard. I don't even know there's nowhere to go. That has been the thing that has forced so many people to put a great idea back on the shelf for far too long. Real strokes of genius end up breathing and living in people that don't even classify themselves as artists, don't even realize that they're an artist. And as quickly as it came to them is as quickly as they kill it. They shoot it and they send it off somewhere because they honestly don't believe that there's any path for it to live because they've never seen it. You have to see it to believe it. You don't believe what you hear, you believe what you see. So I have never seen that somebody like me can have an idea and it be great and, you know, maybe write it out, sketch it out, or heck, even explain it out and somebody do something with it. I've never seen that before. So this genius idea I just got in the shower or washing dishes or standing in the checkout line, looking at the People magazine while the cute girl over there rings up my produce. By the time I put the groceries in the trunk of the car and start driving home, I've forgotten I've ever had it because I don't believe that it can go live anywhere. That is what QLTV Plus is changing in a huge, huge, huge way. You now have somewhere to come as a creative, as a content creator, as an idea generator, as a you have somewhere to come. We're basically going to be we're the TikTok of television. The way these kids can jump up off of a couch and upload something on TikTok and make content and get the eyes and get and that has changed the viewing experience.
Yes.
For the viewers to say that, okay, yeah, we do want this or we don't want this. Yeah, this is worthy of being popular and this isn't. That's what QLTV Plus is doing. By switching up the way that the content can come to you and who it can come to you from, our viewer audience is the one that is feeding what is going to rise and what is going to be. And there is no other platform doing that. Everyone else packages with their algorithm, with their checkbooks, and with their stockholders tell them is the hot thing. Then we haven't even gotten to backdoor deals with directors and producers and the people that we know as our powerhouses and superstars who have been promised that something has to go on the slate for them over the next 8, 9, 10 years. We're not talking about nepotism. We're not talking about favoritism yet. We're not even talking about any of those things yet. Just simply stockholders, algorithms, and what has usually made us money. Just those three things alone control what gets developed, produced, and distributed. And they package that up and they give it to us. And then we go through and we decide what we'll accept.
Right. We
pick the lesser of the evils. And that, you know, when's the last time any of us have turned on a movie or something and been like, I've been waiting for this movie for years.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, understood. You were looking forward to that, and I know a lot of people that were. And that again was based on. I should have prefaced that my question with an original idea. Of course, people were waiting on Lord of the Rings via IP, but an original idea. When's the last time any of us turned on something and based on an original idea, not based on an IP or a book or something fandom wise from our childhood or nostalgia based or something like that, an original idea, and you saw it and was like, wow, such as the fact that Black fathers are in the home.
It's been a while.
Or because we don't even have a say-so in it.
Right.
We they package and feed us what it is. And so it's a matter of, is the favorite thing that I want to watch right now on Hulu, on Netflix, or on Amazon? Those are the options. Now here comes QLTV Plus that allows you, Floyd, who goes to your favorite supermarket and you will wait in a long line just to be rung up by this one particular cashier. And the manager is bugging the crap out of you. The manager is like, sir, 3 is open. And you're like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. And they're like, sir, 3 is open. And you tap the person in front of you. You go to 3. I'm staying here in this line because you're trying to get to this person that you interact with on a regular basis, that always has you doubled over in laughter by the end of your transaction, that just makes your day. And you walk away from him every time and say, yo, that boy, he should have a show. Now he can. Now he can. You couldn't have walked him into Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon, no matter how much he tickled you before. He's not in the machine. The algorithm doesn't pick him up. There's nothing about him that tells them that they would make money off of him. That he's not even on their radar. He's not represented. He doesn't have an agent or a manager. He can't get in. Where would he even where would he even begin? And he might be sitting on the very next best stand-up
Right.
routine ever, which you will vouch for, because you're like, he makes me cry just in the line at the supermarket. I know that a stand-up special from him, an hour and a half stand-up special from him would blow the world away. QLTV Plus will listen to that. You're not getting him a meeting anywhere else. That's why we're different.
So how do the creatives approach you? So do you actually, are you out looking for talent, or is there well, I'm sure that there's a submission process. So
Yes.
so how would that work? And I understand that you already have some things already in the queue. So how did you go about finding those? Where did you go to find all of
Got
the
it. The things that are already in the queue. Okay. The way all of this started is I've had a production company for years. So I had a production, I have a production company underneath the banner name of 7 Reasons Productions. I'm a
Stop
mother
right
of
there
7.
for a second. Please, you have to share that story. Because when
Yes.
I heard that, I said, what?
Yeah. I'm a mother of 7. And I truly believe that everything that my hands touch is to be in service and for good, because everything that I touch should then turn around and touch them. And so I try my damnedest to live my life. I don't want my hands dirty. I don't want my hands in anything. Anything that I touch should go back on to touch my babies. So 7 Reasons Productions is just my constant reminder of the 7 reasons why I move in this world the way I move, the way I do business the way I do, why I extend myself and really overextend myself to others the way I do, why I live a life of service and just trying to help and shine light. That is my entire brand as a person, personally and professionally, is service and light. You should be serving someone. You should be of service, and you should be shining your light. Everything I do is based on royalty, service, and light. So, so that's 7 Reasons Productions. And so there were things that I had in development, and I've had deals. I've been over, I'm outside of statute of limitations to be able to say that, and NDAs and stuff and all. I've had deals at Showtime. I've worked. This is why I've been telling people, like, I've worked. My reputation and my resume precedes me. So I have done things in places and done things for people in places to the point where I knew that me personally had a slate strong enough and good enough that my name should have been rolling across screens and credits as a created by. Rather than me just running the focus groups for other people who are the created by, or them calling me in and telling me that they're going to pay me a couple $1,000s over the next 3 days to look over things, run some scripts, run some scenes, and tell them whether or not I feel there's cultural appropriation within the African American or the Afro-Latina community. So I'm good enough for you to cut a check for that, but you guys will not put me on that set. You will not. And I was set to be on that set when John was here. And then after that, I haven't been able to get back on that set unless it was for somebody else, which in support of or in service of, which again, I have no problem of. I'm here to serve. But when was it going to be me? And that's when I realized I need to just go ahead and do it for me. So what is currently on our content page are all projects from myself underneath the 7 Reasons Production banner, or co-pro under 7 Reasons Production banner with another company, many of them guided in via my chief content officer, my CCO.
Okay. So I need to rewind the tape a little bit.
Got it.
Because you said something very interesting. You have the experience, you have the know-how, you know everything that there is to know. And if you looked different and your hair was shorter and you were another shade and your voice was a little bit deeper and your genitalia were different, it wouldn't have been, I said that. It wouldn't have been a problem, because you are not the first African Latina female that I have interviewed where I have heard this.
Yeah.
And actually I interviewed a young lady, I'm not going to mention her name, a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal producer, been in the game over 20 years. And she said, Floyd, if I were a man, I just basically what you said, I would have that created by.
Absolutely.
I happened to be listening to a podcast yesterday. One of the gentlemen that's in MOCU, and I was listening to the podcast with his wife. His wife won SXXW, prolific filmmaker. I mean, when I was listening to her run down her resume, and she said, no one picked up the phone and called me.
Yep.
And they ended up starting their own thing. And I'm saying to myself, what is the resistance to this all about? I mean, do you think that they feel that if we as people of color start to make inroads that we will upend them? Because again, going back to the UCLA report, the McKinley report, and every other report out there, I'm a little amazed at the fact that you have so much diverse talent that is not being utilized. So I just wanted to get your opinion before we get back to QueenLight TV Plus. What do you think that is all about?
It's multi-pronged. It's those who believe honestly and in their complete and total upending and eradication that, you know, making room for somebody else means that we go bye-bye, which is never the case. It's those who don't want brought to light all of the nasty and horrible, incorrigible things that they've done for so long to make sure that others don't get a foot in. Because that happens too. Once you do start letting people in, and inevitably there has to be some type of light shown on and some type of conversation about why weren't we here before? You know what I mean? So that's the other resistance of the, you know, I would let you in, but then you're going to ask about, well, why not before now? And I don't want that in the light. So that's a problem. You have people who are silly enough to believe that letting women into a place of power within entertainment means everything's going to turn out to be a chick flick. It's amazing. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. And then this is me tooting my own horn a little bit. Then you have the situations where you have situations where with women like me, where you know darn well that everything isn't going to turn into a chick flick, and that you just don't want to deal with the fact that a woman can tell what society claims is a man's story just as well as, if not better than, a man could. You just don't want to, you don't even want to deal with that. The very fact that I'm not coming in just to do stories about, they love when I talk about me being a mother of 7 and all, because that's very cute. That's very, that you get to imagine me in a kitchen, slaving over a stove for 7 children and, you know, and sending everybody off to bed with kisses on the forehead and all. Yeah, we'll swallow that. We'll take that. And when I come and I step into a room and I tell you that I write female-led characters that do all the things in society that they usually assign only to a man doing, they break the mold, they break all the rules, they are unapologetic about it. My women curse, my women holler, my women have sex, my women tell you where to get off at. See that? No, we don't want that version of the queen. No, go back to that you had the kids. And
that sounds like my wife.
Yeah, you know, they're not trying to deal with that. They're like, no, go back over there, talk about the children and the baking of the cookies and the cakes. They don't like that. So yeah, there are a lot of reasons to that resistance. There's just so many people that believe that inclusion means in code exclusion. Because it meant exclusion for them for so long. They have excluded purposefully. They have excluded Black, brown, yellow faces. It just, and so they believe that, you know, you let them in and then they treat us the way we treated them. And that, I think that is the top level of the fear. And then you get those other branches off of it. And it's fine at this point. It's fine at this point, though. My old Hollywood me was trying to show them, no, everything's okay. No, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah. And even, and again, it's a not happening to you, happening for you, because when they kept slamming those doors, you had so many people, yourself, Cheryl Bedford, people of that, oh gosh, what's her name? Londi Maduro, women like that, creating, you know, Nikki Bates, all of those phenomenal women. And I could name so many more. And if I didn't name you, it's not because I didn't, I'm just so many names.
Charge it to his head, not his heart. We see you, queens. We see you.
But, you know, KL Jones, you know, so many amazing, Donna Marie, Danita, all of those amazing women, you know, Brenda Gilbert, just doing so many amazing things because someone said, nope.
Yeah.
So then you say, you know what? F your table. I shall build my own. which brings me back to what you are doing right now, building a table with your streaming platform, because I also understand that you have what is it called? K-pop? Did I say that right?
K-pop. Yes.
K-pop. I'm I'm
K-pop.
I'm 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 old, y'all. So
You're fine. You're
that's
fine.
not my thing.
As am I. Trust me. I was schooled on it. I had base knowledge of it, and I fully understood. I have a daughter that is in that age range that just absolutely, so I end up having to spend my money on it. I definitely hear it around my home, and she's got to have the tickets too, and there's pillows with those boys' faces on it, and
Mhm.
posters and stuff, so my money, it helps to support some of that. So I had knowledge of it outside of the fact of, unfortunately, what has become the American ideal of the fact that it's just a karaoke culture.
Right.
Wrong. And again, myself, something that lends to that is and helps with that is just me being culturally diverse.
Mhm.
I'm a culturally diverse woman. I come from a mother of Puerto Rican descent and a father from the Caribbean of Jamaican descent. I grew up, and there was arroz y habichuela and curry goat all on the same, and asada plantinos all on the same plate. I understand diversity down to the base level, of grandparents, two sets of grandparents speaking two sets of languages, all in, and me going back and forth, and then a little bit of English in between. I get it down to a molecular level. So this whole thing of things being a melting pot, and me understanding other cultures and never just marginalizing them or generalizing them to that, oh, that's a karaoke thing, would have
Mhm.
never been a thought in my mind, just because of who I am.
Mhm.
But that has become a big norm thought process here in America. They are really missing it. It's not just a karaoke culture. There are deep roots and customs and beautiful art, and just the animation and the music, and the influence on fashion, and good God, if for nothing else, the hold they have on our children. You should want to know, just because of that. These kids why aren't you paying it? Just the mother in me.
Mhm.
I want to know it forwards and backwards and backwards and forwards, because this is something that my child is fully engaged in. I want to know it all. So, again, going back to the reports that we spoke of earlier, this is yet another, they're leaving it on the table. They're just leaving it there. It's just sitting there. So if I can't get you to care because of, you should care because it has the kids' eyes and ears and hearts, and I can't get you to care because you should care about other cultures and customs and food and music and influence, and if I can't get you to care because they're an absolutely beautiful people that
Mhm.
deserves to have their chance and their space, can I get you to care because there's a couple $1 billion left on the table? Oh, now you hear me.
Mhm. Because kids are a very large consumer
Oh,
base.
heck yes. Heck yes. That have access to their parents' credit cards and things that were you grabbing mama's credit card when you was coming up? Because
No,
I
you better
wasn't.
not put your
You
hand
better,
on.
you better. I wasn't allowed to put my hand underneath her pillow if she decided that that's where she was hiding the gum.
Mhm.
That would,
No.
you'll get that
Different,
stick of
different.
gum when I
Mm-mm.
come home. And if I find out you were in my room and under my pillow for that gum, Leah, let alone grab her credit card? Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
These kids now, they have full access. They have full access to be able to buy, to purchase, to set up everything, from the tickets of the next time that this person they're so crazy about, or band or boy group, is going to be in town, the
Mhm.
movie premiere, like I said, the posters, the pillows that populate their bed, the whole 9 yards. They're a huge consumer market.
Yeah, because I have two daughters. They're both adults now, but I remember, as they were growing up, and my youngest daughter was a humongous Queen Bee fan. She still is.
Mhm.
And it was nothing for, my wife to go out and come back with all of these bags with Beyonce stuff, and they just assumed that you would do it.
Yep.
It really wasn't even a can
How
I
about
have, it was more of a when are we going to get?
how about it? How about it?
So again, and see, this is the beauty of your station, because you don't have to do anything with it. I'll take that for you.
Right.
So now when it blows up, then they'll come looking. What's Leah over there doing?
Right.
Something you should have did 5 years ago, but that's
How
okay.
about it?
I took care. I took care
I
of it.
took care of that. I jumped on that for you. How about it? How about it? And that's exactly what we're doing. We are paving the roads. And I told everyone, I've said this before, I've told everybody, this is not I'm trying to take over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to fight. This is not about me taking over or fighting Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. I understand who the big three are. It's not a problem. I understand where I fall on the pecking order of things. That's not a problem. This is about me doing what they're not. That is what will carve the lane for QLTV Plus. That is definitely one of the things. You guys aren't doing this. You're not paying attention here. It's not on your radar. It's not in your algorithm. You don't believe it will make you money. You guys are not necessarily in the business of giving the audience. You present that you do. Your commercials make people think that you are, but no, those mandate meetings that I have the pleasure of sitting in show different. Those stockholder meetings show different. So forward facing to everybody else. Yes, we're worried about the consumer. We're worried about what they want. They were worried about behind closed doors. How do we make our numbers next quarter?
Mm-hmm.
Worried about that P&L statement is what we're worried about. So I love the fact that with QLTV Plus, we get to exist in a lane where we don't have to combat that, where I don't have to answer to stockholders first. Mm-hmm. Where those who have come along on this ride for me, the executive team that I've been blessed to build, are just as concerned with mission and with creators having a chance to truly be creative, and with viewers and consumers truly having an immersive experience with all things that are bright, beautiful, and innovative. And that's our tagline for QLTV Plus. We are bright, we are beautiful, and we are innovative.
That sounds nice.
Yes, that is who we are. That is who we are. So if you want to step into the light, if you want to find beauty while doing it, and if you want something that is completely and totally ever changing and is bringing you what is cutting edge as far as experiences, as far as education, as far as entertainment, and as far as technology is concerned, then we have the innovation for you as well. And that is something else that we're leaning heavily, heavily into, because who needs just another streaming service that's just running content? The innovation part of QLTV Plus will definitely be a huge factor of what continues to make viewers come back and engage. Because when they realize, okay, this is an experience. I get entertained here, I get educated here, and I get an experience here that it does not exist anywhere else. That is what separates QLTV Plus from the rest.
And I think that is going to be so very important, because when you were on the podcast, the name escapes me. The journey, the one about
Becoming the journey with Grace Becoming the Journey. Yes, she's wonderful.
She talked about all content is not good content.
How about
it? And when I was listening to that, I was thinking about all the streaming services that I have. And sometimes I forget that I have them until something pops up.
Right.
And then someone just sent me an email the other day saying, hey, $199 a month for the, or $20 for the entire year. And I'm saying, do I need another one? Right. Simply because, as you said, you could look at one show and it's on 4 different platforms.
Right.
But where is the uniqueness?
Right. Which is why we pushed back our launch date. We were originally set to launch 4 days from now. We had an Oct 1 and we were set up and ready to go, but we were set up and ready to go to begin giving people licensed content, which, due to my connections, I was able to get in lightning speed time. And we were going to begin populating the 24/7 linear with that because we're already in production with the VODs. And so obviously you need time for production. You got to color grade, music sync, all of that magic. So while we were doing the movie magic on the back end, boom, here's your licensed content. And then the internal team, strategist team, and shout out to my chief content officer, really said, Queen, honestly, everything about you, everything about us, everything about this team and what we're doing here is us standing on our authenticity, standing in our originality, in the light of being authentic, in the light of being original. Why would we kick this off with content that they could get from somewhere else, even with them knowing that the originals are coming? Why would we even? So what we immediately did is anybody that was signed up prior to October 1st, and it's still open until October 1st, anybody that signed up with that expectation of the October 1, you get your second year of QueenLight Television for free. That's our thank you to you, that you came in at the top of it and you believed but we did push back to that first quarter of 2023 so that when we step onto it all, we step into our light with the originals. We set the bar for what we're known for, so that you see our production quality, so that you don't ever log into QLTV Plus and say to yourself that, oh, I could have caught this on TBS, or I could have caught this on or oh God, I love Keanu Reeves, but The Matrix again, or John Wick again. How, and Keanu's my man. I'd watch him. I'd watch him act the phone book, but we did not want the QLTV Plus experience to be that. So here we are, the little engine that could just chewing away. And again, it's just amazing how it is going and the traction that we're getting, the attention that we're already receiving before our hard launch.
And I think that is phenomenal, and that's so extremely important, because you're not the big three, as you said, but quality is quantity any damn day of the week.
You darn right.
And if they're,
and we're not big three in name, but we will be big three in impact. And I promise everyone that there is no way in the world the big three will look over their shoulder and be like, what is all that hubbub behind us? And if you have to turn around because of the commotion behind you, it's because what's behind you ain't going to be back there for much longer. So I'm just fine with our positioning. I'm very, very proud of it.
And that's a beautiful thing, because when you become so big, oftentimes you overlook so much. And it's just like a big oak tree with beautiful flowers growing underneath. But the oak tree is so big, I can't look down and see those flowers. But you have all of this activity going on, and the niche audience, and you have so many people that are really successful in lots of different lines of work, talk about niche it down as far as you possibly can. Because I was in a room the other day, John Lee on Clubhouse, and they talked about having 1,000 hardcore customers, and you could make $1 million in a year if you just had 1,000 hardcore customers, as opposed to having 20,000 casual customers. Because for real, if I'm gonna keep it real, I have so many streaming services, I'm just casual, because I don't have any loyalty to any of them.
Are you actually engaging?
Right.
That's the difference. Exactly. That's the difference. That's the difference. I talk to people about that all the time. It's, people talk about, fans and followers or whatever. Fans and followers are lurkers. That's it. And lurking is good. Lurking can be done with love. Lurking, makes your numbers look big to other people. That's what's up. Okay. I need participants. I don't need fans. I don't need followers. I don't need lurkers. I need participants. And participants, the difference between a follower, a fan, a lurker, and an actual participant is their engagement level. I need you to be talking about me elsewhere and telling the name QLTV Plus to other people, creatives and viewers who don't know, who are looking for a new way. I need you to understand and do your homework on us so that you can build up the trust, so that you can put me to the test, so that you can Google me and say, oh, wait a minute, this lady's not crazy. She's serious. So that you will feel comfortable to come in and pitch to us, because maybe you are sitting on the next best thing since sliced bread. If you don't trust me and my team to tell us, how will we know? And I definitely know some people out here that you shouldn't be trusting to go tell. So so then we have a job to do to make sure that we are approachable, that you can get to us, that you are treated with the care and respect that you deserve. And then let's see what we've got. I need you to be able to be engaged, because the content is that good, because the experience is that good, because you are educated, because you are entertained, and because you are exposed to things. I love all those E words. It's education, it's entertainment, it's exposure, it's experience. You get all of those things here that you don't get anywhere else, which leads to the major E word, which is exclusivity. What does QLTV Plus have for you that is exclusive so that you are engaged with us rather than just lurking with everyone else? And that is what we are after. And again, this is something that most executives, they don't get it. They're not thinking about it. They have become so big. They may have even started out thinking about it. But like you said, that oak tree grows so big that it's all about the bottom line. It's all about they lose sight of that. And that's where things begin to turn and go downhill. And that's something that QLTV Plus is trying to be in front of in the beginning. We're not planning on going downhill. We understand that this is absolutely needed for viewers and for creatives. We're not going to start and be gone a year from now, gone 3 years from now, gone 5 years from now. They will look back on this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and be like, my goodness, yeah, she was on the wave before the wave. She understood where this needed to go to put everybody on a level playing field and bring forth a new wave of content for all of us to enjoy and benefit off of, whether you're the one sitting on the couch taking it in, or whether you're the one behind the camera putting it on. And that's what we're doing.
Wow. So I'm excited. I'm so excited for what's coming next. And besides the launch, what's next on your plate? Because you have a lot going on.
Oh, always. So we have the launch, obviously, gearing up for that, just continuing to build out our teams and production and just a bunch of goodness going on, different things that'll be coming out via our publicists, which we're super duper excited about. We have had things happen that just shouldn't, which I don't mean shouldn't, because I accept and believe and receive all things, but just as far as society is concerned and where we are in the level and stage of things, just shouldn't be coming our way. Mm-hmm. Which is another reason why I know that I'm doing the right thing, because the things that are just aligning. But then outside of QLTV Plus, I am also the founder and director of RWA, which stands for Royal Writers Academy. So all the information you could possibly want about QueenLight Television, QLTV Plus, is at QLTVPlus.com. And then any information that you would want to have about RWA is at Royal Writers, with an S, RoyalWritersAcademy.com. And what that is an intensive training program and fellowship for writers unlike anything that you've ever seen. Everything that I do, as I stated before, is based in royalty, light, and service. So I'm here to give you a royal experience. I'm here to shine light on the things and the people that need and deserve to have light shown on them the most. And I'm here to be of service to you. And Royal Writers Academy allows me to, you introduce me as a multi-hyphenate, which I most certainly am. But at the very end of it, the way in my life, at the very end of everything, I am a mother before all else. Professionally, I'm a writer before all else. That is my love. That is my passion. I have such a respect for the craft of writing, for the writer, for the scribes. I am so in love with the writing room. I love breaking story. I love that process. Writers are my people. That is my tribe. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted there to be a situation for them, a place for them to come where they're not trivialized, where they're not marginalized, where they're not forgotten. You know, people get this wonderful script and then it goes on to become, and all of a sudden it's about everybody else except for the person that sat there with that idea and mm-hmm. bled it out through a pen or through the keys of a keyboard onto the page in the first place.
And that's hard.
Very,
That's hard.
You know what I mean? Bring the writer in and sit them at the table next to the bathroom. The writer? What is going on? So, yeah, you know, and that again is not to take away from anybody else in the crew or in that, you know, puts in their blood, sweat, and tears to make it real. It takes a village mm-hmm. to bring content together, to present. Yes. Everybody deserves love and respect. The hair and makeup people, I have such a respect for everyone. But again, me at the end of the day, I'm a writer first. So mm-hmm. I created Royal Writers Academy to make sure that the training is there, respecting and honing the craft, that they're not trivialized, that they're not marginalized, that they don't just get a pat on the butt and sent off and told to go read Save the Cat again. You deserve more attention and time than that. And then you also deserve to be hireable afterwards. And that's a big thing. You take these writers up to a point and you hold them by the hand and then you drop them. And it's like, okay, what do I go do after that? So I
Right.
personally created, since I had QueenLight Television, since I have QueenLight Television, since I have QLTV Plus, I was like, yeah, guess what? We're going to create a series of shows that are those writers' rooms are staffed by RWA people.
That's beautiful.
Like point blank. Like I can't just be like everybody else. And you know, you can do it. And the motivation and all of that. Who's giving out chances?
Right.
Who's giving out opportunities? Show me that I can do it. Show me that you believe. Could you imagine John Singleton sitting across from me? He had me at a Pete's Coffee. I didn't even know that. Could you imagine him sitting with me at a Pete's Coffee and telling me, yeah, I believe in you. You can do it.
And that is major.
Like I like it was him showing me that I could do it. It was him allowing me in and under his wing, and you know what I mean? Could you imagine just Stan Lathan just casually telling me, I believe in you, you can do it. As much as a boost as that is to hear that from such a legend,
Yeah.
of course. But what made it better for me was weekly mentoring. What made it better for me is because my children were young then when Stan came into my life. I had little babies then. And what made the difference was him hearing me on the phone going through a scene or going over something. And it may have been the third time that something went boom, boom in the background, or that you heard a from a kid or something like that. And him saying, Lee, stop. Go be a mother. It's fine. Go be a mother. And I guarantee you, once you shore all of that up, this scene is going to absolutely positively flow. I'm not going anywhere, and the opportunities that I have for your talent and what I know you can do isn't going anywhere. That's what people need. Right. The motivational quotes, they can Google them themselves. Who's showing me? Who's giving me a chance? So he didn't say, oh gosh, wow, a mother and you're still out here in this, and that is great. No, he showed me. He showed me and put me in positions and said my names in rooms and introduced me to agents and managers and put me in positions to be able to show who I was. And I wasn't even living out in LA yet. I wasn't even in LA yet. I was still doing the flying back and forth situation. Okay. And he believed in me that much and said my name in front of certain people and things that it led to that I could come out here with children and set up and run shop. So that's what RWA is about. It's about showing writers that they can do it. We have been blessed to have every one Monday is class with me, and the next Monday is always a special guest. Any of my RWA people will tell you they've already been exposed to Netflix. They've already been exposed to NBC. They've already been exposed to streaming. They're already in there. We do an industry speed dating night where literary managers and agents who are friends of mine, who are people that I've pitched to, that I've worked with, that I've already worked with clients that are already on their roster, come in via a Zoom webinar, and you have 30 seconds to pitch yourself, not a project, yourself. Who are you as a writer, as a person? Why should they care?
That is so huge. You know what? And we were about to end this, but we can't.
Oh,
nope. That is fine. That is fine, because I didn't want to take too much of your time. But you know what you just said about who you are as opposed to what you do. And so many people get that twisted when you're out networking and you'll say, so tell me about yourself. Well, I'm an actor, I'm an actress, and I've been in it. Yo, that's not what I asked you.
Nope.
That is not what I asked you. I asked you, who are you? And
they don't even realize that person has already turned off, and they're looking at the person over your shoulder who maybe has on the fly funky fedora that they wanted to catch up with, or the person that they caught in the funky boots. They're still looking at you, and that smile is still plastered because that Hollywood plaster smile is real, people. It's been practiced in the mirror for years. They got it. If you're not good at reading situations, you'll never even know. You will swear that y'all just had the best conversation ever. And I can look at them and know, oh no, they checked out 20 seconds ago, because they didn't ask you what you do. They asked you, who are you? Network yourself. You
Mhm.
are not going to say to them that you do anything different than the 1,500 other people that ran into them today, knowing that they were a manager, knowing that they were an agent, knowing that they were a producer, knowing that they do anything in this Hollywood machine and tried to pitch something. The best thing you can do to try to get a stronghold, to try to get a foot in, is to know who you are, to be able to present who you are. That invests them, that makes them care. And then we can get to what you do. Like I said earlier, I ran a class last night where I told them, I don't care that Elmo ate bananas. I could care less. I could care less. I'm running a network. I've got 7 children to worry about. I've got a house to run. I've got business. I've got a million and one things. I have an executive team that I have to care for and take care of. I've got 3,000 emails to answer. I don't care that Elmo eats bananas. I don't care that you saw a bunny rabbit and one eye was pink and one eye was blue and one ear was up and one ear was down. I don't care about any of that. You know what I do care about? The child whose mouth it's coming out of. And that's why I pay attention. That's why I sit there and listen about the fact that Elmo can eat 6 bananas at once, and that you saw the doggy chase the bunny rabbit. And that's why I'll take my mind off of the million other things that I need to handle in this world and listen, because I care about that child. I'm invested in any child, my own most certainly, but any child on the face of God's earth. I am invested in you. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be seen, loved, held, educated, listened to. Baby, what do you have to tell me? Go ahead and tell me. I'm busy, but you have my attention because of who you are. It's the same thing in our professional lives. Let them know who you are, and then they'll be invested in what you have to say. What you have to say right off the bat is not unique or different to them than anything else that they've heard.
No.
And again, your ego will make you think that it is. Your ego will make you think that you're about to tell them the best love story ever that they've never heard before. No, you're not. But if you stand on your authenticity, if you stand on your originality and who you are, you might get them so invested in you that now they'll listen to that wonderful love story that I'm sure is wonderful that you wrote. But trying to get them to care about that first is not the way. And if people would listen to that and feel that, their networking worth will go up exponentially. It'll go through the roof. But again, ego, people don't want to hear it. That's when I go from being the queen to being queen bee, because what does she know? Okay, what do I know?
Yeah, but it's so important. It is so important that we just have to spend some time on this, ladies and gentlemen. I just cannot, because you know what? You're you before you're anything else. You're you before you're a writer, before you're a filmmaker, before you're a cinematographer, before you're an editor. You're you. That's who you're bringing to the conversation. So someone who is genuinely interested in you, they don't give a like you just said about, look, dog, I hear that all day long. That's what I do for a living.
That's what I do for a living.
I'm hanging out, and I'm interested in what you do. You got kids, you married, have you traveled the world? Where have you been? Because you know what? Here's what ends up happening. When you're talking about some of the interesting things that you've done in your personal life, there actually may be something there that you both have in common. And a perfect example. By the way, Vorvank said hello. He sends his love.
V, I love you.
But here's the thing. I was talking to my wife earlier because I was on your LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
You went to Temple School of Finance.
How about it?
And guess what? My daughter graduated from the Klein School of Media. You see that, folks? You see that?
Yeah. The common ground. The common ground.
Common ground. So when I saw that, I ran him over. I said, guess what, Tracy? My wife's like, what? I said, she went to Temple School of Finance. My wife said, what?
Yeah, the common ground is what always pulls it. The common ground always. I forget where I was. I was sitting with somebody. This just happened recently where we were discussing media in China and, you know, just the different things that are going on with that and what we're going through with China. And if China's really behind TikTok and how deeply, not if they really are, but how deeply are they behind it, you know, because they are, but not, you know, not if. And all of that. And then, you know, I just made the off comment again, just talking or whatever. I was like, you know, well, when I was there, you know, we were just, you know, that was many moons ago when, you know, we were getting a law firm off the ground and they were just like, what? And they were like, well, what year was that? And we got into that or whatever. We'll come to find out that they were in Shanghai while I was in Beijing. the whole thing turned into this whole, and now I do believe that I ended up parlaying a Sundance situation out of it.
Yeah, see that? And see, that's so crazy. You were in China. I was right across because I was in Hong Kong.
There it is.
You see that?
There
Ladies
it
and
is.
gentlemen, you've just got a masterclass on the way to network and
There it
collaborate.
is. It's people don't realize. You talk about be you. Stand in you. These agents and managers have people waiting outside of their favorite Starbucks for them. Y'all have no idea how the depths to which people will go. Like literally, there are literary managers and agents who literally have assistants that they pay $18.50 an hour just to erase. Literally, I'm telling y'all, it's quite a few people that if I drop names, they'd be mad I'm saying it out loud. They have assistants that are making almost $20 an hour to erase the overfull voicemail box from over the weekend. Because we left Friday and it was clear. And we come in Monday morning and the mailbox can't even accept any more messages. And it's people cold calling, querying, sending unsolicited material because you have no representation. That stuff's not being seen. That stuff's not being read. They have a pile of stuff in the corner that came from actual representatives that they need to get to. That stuff is not being, there are people that have stalked these people to the point where they know what their Starbucks stop is in the morning. And they meet them there. And can I buy your macchiato? And can you read this? And so now you run into them at a networking event or at a whatever you're at a conference, at a restaurant, at a whatever, and you're just going to give them some more of the same. It's not the way the game is played.
Not offering anything of service, and not even offering anything of service.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. We did say we were ending, but that's okay. It's so crazy because I was thinking about that earlier today, how people come in your inbox and they'll ask you for something.
Ooh, don't get me started.
And it's this gentleman that I listen to by the name of Jim Rohn. Phenomenal Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn, this is for everyone, says, if you want people to, if you want to be valuable to someone, be invaluable. So what are you offering?
Yep.
What are you offering?
What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? I say this all the time. People look at me like I have three eyes. I tell people all the time, use me. What? I said, no, use me. I want to be used. You want to be you, Queen. That doesn't even sound like you would. Use me. Use me. I didn't say abuse me. I didn't say use me up. And if you really know me, you wouldn't ever think that you could. But use me by all means, because if I'm of use to you, I am valuable.
That's right. You're invaluable.
I'm valuable. And then I will continue to prove to you why I'm actually invaluable. Because I'm always in a place of service. Please use me. You think I have resources, knowledge, something that you use me. Use me. Are you kidding me? Do not abuse me. Not that you get the chance to. Do not use me up. If I see that's happening, I'll put a hand out. I'll do a stiff arm. But to use me is not a problem. It means that I am valuable. A lot of people have a problem with being a bridge because it means they get walked across. I don't. I don't have a problem with that. I will lay down and be the bridge that takes you from this side to that side. What I'm not is the doormat that you wipe your feet on. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'm of use. I'm valuable. And then you want to take care of me, and you will take care of me, because who wants to ride across a rickety bridge?
I know that's right.
So you are going to maintenance me. You are going to make, when you because you see my value as that bridge. But so many people are caught up on that means you got to get walked on. You're looking at it from the wrong angle, baby. You're playing it from the wrong angle. You're playing it from the wrong angle. And I don't know if me being a mother helps me to see it that more clearly, or that, that effortlessly, because I'm in service to 7 souls my entire life at all times. And so I just come from that school of, that's just who I am. Serve people, take care of people, be good to people, do what you can. Why would you see something that you could do and not freaking do it? and they burned that bridge that you were kind enough to lay down for them to walk over, and then they turn around and light a match to it, it's fine, because they will need to get back across you, and you won't be there long before you are in a position of not being able to help someone else again.
Yep.
That doesn't even make any sense, that I would stop being a bridge for everybody else because one person turned around and did, okay, whatever, you're on the other side now. You won't go very far again without me, because you're going to make that journey and then realize there was another gap.
Yep.
But you messed up back there. Who you going to call now?
Yep.
You know, so I think that people really, if everybody got into the in the entertainment business and just life, period, got into the habit of being in service and of being useful, and as you said, being invaluable, then that's the way to go. That's what I'm hoping that and that, not even hoping, that's what I set out to and absolutely positively believe with all of my heart, that QLTV Plus and Royal Writers Academy presents to people. It is invaluable to them. The entertainment, the education, the exposure, and the experience is absolutely positively invaluable and is in their service. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm going to get to put my head down at night and be very proud of myself, proud of my legacy, proud of what I'm leaving to my children. And on top of it, I get to be a creator and then authentically who I am. It doesn't get any better than that.
Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end on that note, because Leah, as she said, is a mother of 7. And I know she has to get back to the real job.
Yes.
But before we go, that thing she just talked about with a bridge, guess what a bridge does? It connects people.
Yeah.
It's a connector. And when you burn that bridge, you've just burned that connection. Then you got to go all the way out your way to get to the same destination that you could have gotten to a hell of a lot quicker.
Indeed.
If you had maintained that bridge. Leah, where can people find you?
Just about everywhere. But at this point in time, the best places to go to try to get a hold of me is definitely going to be QLTVplus.com. And you can always send an email to info@QLTVplus.com. You got to spell out the plus. So QLTVplus.com. So info@QLTVplus.com or www.QLTVplus.com. There are contact pages there where you can just click and, you will get onto our radar. We are across all social media, and it's the same thing for Royal Writers Academy, royalwritersacademy.com. We're across all social media. Please tell a friend and bring a friend. I don't know if anybody here frequents Clubhouse. We're there every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. It's the Royal Rhetoric Club. So I am LQ everywhere. I am Leah LQ Queen, or LQ Leah Queen everywhere. LinkedIn, all social media everywhere. I am very, very easy to find. I'm very, very approachable. What I'm hard is to impress. So you'll get in, but whether or not you get to stay in, it will be totally up to you. But you'll get to me, and I'm proud of that. I like being accessible. I like being approachable. But it's going to be up to you whether or not you get to stick around. So definitely, when you do approach myself or anybody on my team, which are phenomenal people, please make sure that you're coming respectfully, your best foot forward, and that you've stopped and let the excitement kind of fade away, and that you're being concise. You're really telling us off the bat what we can do for you. How can we service you? What is it that you're looking to accomplish, so that we can get to the nitty gritty as quickly as possible. And Floyd, I just want to give a huge shout out and just love and flowers to you, and just take a moment to because you're not just somebody that talks to phenomenal people, you being phenomenal in and of yourself, and what you choose to highlight, who you choose to highlight, the attention and the respect that you give to women. Absolutely phenomenal. We do not have many allies in this business, in this world, period, that want to hear us, that believe in our brilliance, that champion our brilliance. And you stand far and apart there, as far as the support that you give, the light of your own that you shine, sharing your platform. I thank you, brother. I thank you
so much. And I thank you for gracing my platform. It has been an honor. I was looking so forward to doing this, and we definitely have to do it again after the launch.
Yes, that'll be fun.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed our hour-and-a-half long talk. It was phenomenal. The time just flew, and I really hope that you've learned something. And listen a couple of times, tell a friend, subscribe, do all of that other good stuff. Make sure you follow Leah on all her social media platforms. And if you're a writer, even if you're not a writer, I highly recommend going to her room on Clubhouse. It is amazing. They have some phenomenal people that come through that space. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing like getting an education for free. And when you go to her room, you are getting, and this is no exaggeration, you are getting thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information for the low price of free. I cannot stress that enough. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining myself and the amazing, incomparable Leah LQ Queen on a conversation with. And as I always say, filmmaking, love it like a hobby, but please treat it like a business. Have a phenomenal night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right. Take care.